Hello and happy Saturday. Happy time zones. Uh, Welcome to another writing sprint. I'm chuckling because I just barely caught my replay in time, and then Charlie's came through. They're like, I don't know where the tab is. It's because you got too many tabs open, Gladys. All right. It is a few of us here. And by a few, I mean me and Charlie and Persephone. Oh, Spence is here too. Hello, Spence. Um,
I found it. Dead
Yay!
now. It was fun hearing you mock me in stereo, though,
Oh, that is fun.
because it's like this chorus of Jace being bitchy. Like, oh, I didn't know I needed that this morning, but yes.
Is it morning for you? Wait,
No,
no,
but
it's only an hour.
I've only had two of my 3 cups of coffee, and until that third one gets it to me, it's morning. Damn it.
Morning is. I perceive it to be morning. That is my personal truth.
Morning persists until I'm caffeinated enough to be actually awake.
Makes sense. Do you know? Are you going to be working on anything that you talked to me about?
Uh,
Like maybe researching how?
okay, so what happened was I went to the state hall today, which was amazing because Janet is amazing and Dimitri is amazing and the whole group of people that are there are amazing. And Janet was like, I don't understand why all of you people aren't, and like laid out like how to do like the world building story unfolding, like welcome people into your universe so that they give you the monies. And I'm just like, I can't type fast enough. So I have a plan, but it involves me learning how to write flash fiction, which I'm not comfortable with, and b like figuring out how I'm reorganizing everything and cataloging and making sure I've got some stuff already done. So that's kind of where I am because I'm like really pumped and excited to be working on all of this because it's like I see a path forward, like that glorious thing that writers never have, like that's how I get to my dreams. But yeah, most of what I've been doing today is being very disappointed by people going, "So you want to write fan fiction, flash fiction? Well, you already have your ideas." No, I have ideas for book series, for books, for novellas, maybe for some short stories, but a short story is longer than a flash fiction. Like this story's gonna, like all the stories I have in mind will take more than 1,000 words to write. So that clearly puts them outside of the flash fiction. How do flash fiction?
Yeah, that is. I mean, if you go to like maybe, excuse me, AO3 or something. Although, see, the problem with taking fanfic as inspiration for flash fiction is that part of the reason it can be so short is that the characters are already established, and so is the
Right.
world.
And that's where I have problem is like I need to introduce a world that these people have no idea who anything about. I have to introduce characters that nobody knows anything about because most of the things that I want to be writing flash fiction about, they're not even characters that are in the books. It's like giving more background information, more like little legends and stories that the characters would know, and like other little things that got things where it is. Maybe some of the side characters that we're going to meet later, so that you have a little bit more idea about them. But like, oh yeah, that's right, so and so did that, like, but like condensing that down to something. I don't do brevity.
Spence has a point here. Flash fictions are more like situations than stories.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this. I have in the past written a lot of prose poems because I rather enjoy that. Um, so
Proems.
yeah, so some of this is probably just going to be me doing prose poetry and like screw the world. But half the things that I watched were like, flash fiction is not a vignette. And I'm like, okay, that's great. I know what a vignette is. I thought I knew what a flash fiction is, but I thought that there was overlap between the two. How are they different? Oh, you're not going to explain. You're just going to say the phrase, flash fictions are not vignettes. Okay. Thank you for that. That helps me not at all.
Oh, so they're being Google.
Yes. Like there's this assumed body of knowledge that every article and video that I've found just like because I know what a vignette is. Vignettes are fun to write. They were very popular in the 1800s up through the 1920s, and I always saw them as the precursor to flash fiction because they're short, like situations, mood pieces, tone poems, things of that nature. And okay, that's what I was assuming kind of led to flash fiction. But you're like, okay, they're not the same thing. So how are they different? Like they're both under 1,000 words. They're both like about a situation that happens to a character, a place, or a thing. Like, how are they different? Like, don't just tell me that they are when on paper they're basically the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to use your words, damn it. Like you all are claiming to be writers out here, giving your writing advice. Use your damn words.
But they don't.
No.
Yeah, it reminds me of every time I try and look up something on Google. It's just like, okay, I need some specifics on X, Y, and Z. X, Y, and Z are blank. Those aren't specifics. That's an overview. Where are the specifics? X, Y, and Z are blank. I like turtles.
Because more than anything, I kind of think I know what my camp project's going to be. Because I kind of want to write 30 flash fictions in 30 days. Because they're really short. It feels like a thing that I should do as long as I can take the rest of this week to kind of figure out what those 30 are. Here's the seed. Because I feel like for a flash fiction, ideation is going to be a lot of the time. Like there'll probably be a lot of time and revision and stuff at the end, but we're just talking about having drafted 30 flash fictions because it's not a lot. That's 1,500 to 30,000 words in a month.
Hmm.
Yeah, I should be able to do that.
Sounds like punishment. Yeah, I agree, Spence. That is, I mean, it's less than a nano because if you're doing 1,000, if you're eliminating to 1,000 for flash fiction, then that's only 30,000 in a month. But that's a lot.
But like most of the definitions that I saw, that's the cutout off that they do for flash fiction is 1,000 words. So okay. And as somebody who is used to when my brain is functioning, writing at about 96K a month, um, you know, 30,000 should be a thing I can do.
Hmm.
But I feel like what's going to slow me down is having to stop and go, well, what's the next story about then? Um, you know, because I don't necessarily like I don't have a problem with some of them being serialized. So we get a string of them that go together and like continue, kind of continue a story or something.
Hmm.
But each one being kind of a self-contained episode, I don't have a problem with that. But I don't want to basically write a novella with really short chapters. Like that's not the goal.
Oh, Spence has it, but it's 30,000 in first chapters.
A little bit. I just have a very large and expansive world, and I feel like this would be a great way to introduce people to it.
Although, now that I'm thinking about it, sometimes I listen to these ASMR role plays, and I think they're about 1,000 words. But there's definitely a formula to it, and there's some parts of it that I can't stand.
And I saw a lot of the comments on like how to actually write them. And it's like it's very simple. You have your beginning, middle, and end, and you have a story. And I'm like, okay, thank you, kindergarten teacher. But like that is literally the least you could say about a story. Like, oh, a story has a beginning, middle, and end. I'm shocked. Okay. Um, but in under 1,000 words though.
Yeah, the sort of a side thing, but the main thing that someone brought up in one, and I was just like, "Oh my god, that's the thing that's been bothering me is these role play stories that they're doing ASMR for are, it's just one speaker, except the listener is the other person, but they are responding to things that apparently the listener is supposed to be saying. And in order to, th- it's really hard to do that when no one is saying the other lines. And one thing that they do is they parrot.
Uh,
It's just like, oh, but you're parroting everything.
hey, Raven.
Hello, Raven. And it's just like, I mean, some of them are good, but some of them are just so cringy because it's the speaker is speaking the other person's line by repeating them every single time. I would punch someone if they repeated everything I said.
Uh, you're making me think of somebody that I knew in high school.
Oh, Persephone's heard of it too. Heard them too. The ASMR boyfriend type audios. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Some of them do it well, but some of them are just like I I, I can't actually like mimic them right now because I can't get my brain to think in that way because I need the other person's dialogue.
But if nothing else, I'm very happy that I went to the Sage Hall meeting today because I wasn't feeling good, and I was like, do I really want to sit and Zoom with a bunch of people? But hey, I actually feel like writing, and I'm like, I have energy, and I have like all these thoughts happening in my brain, which has not been happening for months. So worth it.
Sounds super fucking creepy to you. Yep. And I cringe through parts of them sometimes. Yeah. Although there was a really I listened to one the other day. I didn't realize it was a werewolf one until I was listening to it. And the werewolf was like, I'm an alpha here. You have to do what I say because you're an omega.
Girl!
And I'm just like, oh, oh, they're going there. And apparently it was an alpha bottom.
I'm still trying to figure out who taught the straights the term power bottom, but not what it meant. Because I've seen several people use it, and they're using it very wrong, and I'm here for it because it's so funny. It completely changes the meaning of everything that they're saying.
So Raven says, I mean, to be fair, I find ASMR utterly unlistenable in general, so I'm not the best person to judge. See, for me, certain types are much better than others. Like, there's this one girl, her name is Nefertiti ASMR, and oh my god, she is like the most professional person I've ever come across doing this stuff. And I think part of the reason why she relaxes me so much is that she's French, and she almost never speaks in English. So the words aren't tripping me up. Yeah, the ASMR boyfriend ones, they really do help get in the mood when you're writing the erotic stories. It's just like, oh, okay, I'm back on board. Let's get back into this.
Well, that's the problem with the vampire fiction because I was getting back into writing that, and then it basically went, so, am I erotica or am I a romance? Because here's your opportunity. Here's where the paths converge. Like, not that you can't have like romance in an erotica story, but like, you know what I mean? Like, we're either going to get down into the naughties right now, like in chapter one, like page one of chapter one, or we're going to hold that off and make it
Oh,
special.
you see what you did to Spence? Raven says, "Power bottom. When you put a Hemi vibrator in your ass and use that energy to run around doing your errands. Am I close?" um, Not exactly. However, I have seen that happen.
I'm just saying, I love how like queer slang gets out into the cis straight world and they never use it right. But this is my favorite. This is my absolute favorite because it's like a magical word. It's like literally it can mean whatever they want it to mean, but it really doesn't. It really doesn't. It has a meaning of its own.
hmm
And, mm, it changes how I feel about these people. It's like the wonderful time period where all the old people were running around going, "I'm a teabagger." Like, sweetie.
Hello, Chloe.
Hello.
We're talking about power bottoms.
Nice. Nice. I'm going to regret saying this phrase, but I came at the right time.
uh,
And
yeah. Okay. So,
this is absolutely just out of curiosity and not like trying to drama or whatever, but why are y'all talking about power bottoms?
Oh, because straight people have learned this phrase, but not what it means.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a great episode of It's Always Sunny, where he just keeps using that phrase the entire episode. Yes.
And it has filtered its way out into society. I keep seeing it being used by cis straight people on Twitter for not what it actually means, and it's just like, oh, girl, I read that very differently. Wait a minute,
Oh,
let me put
oh,
on my straight
oh.
glasses.
Yes, kind of like whenever a Southerner reads "Bless Their Heart,"
Oh yeah,
written by a Northerner who thinks it's actually a kind expression. It's not.
it's not.
it is one of the
See, I'm
many.
not a Southerner, and I even know that that's not a kind expression.
Yeah,
It's like
no.
think of the baby Jesus. Like if anyone ever says that to you, you know that you're about to get hit. Like you've
Yeah.
said something, find the words to apologize. Like this is not a Chris. Like the Christmas carols will not follow. Like
Yeah. Also, Jesus take the wheel.
oh my yeah.
Okay, good. I was pulling up power bottom on Google, and it's like power bottom band.
Oh,
Please say they're gay, and I'm looking at them, and yeah, one of they're both like in drag, so I'm
perfect.
gonna guess they know what it means.
The greatest rage I ever felt in my life was when I found out that the most of the members of Pansy Division were straight, and I'm just like, how dare you? How
Oh.
dare you?
Oh.
You wrote some great queercore music, but still, how dare you? This is a worse
So
betrayal than all the straight people and queer as folk. Like, what are you doing?
so on Friday, I'm gonna be a groomsmaid at a gay wedding, and my
Yay!
parents are also going to be there, and my mother is one of those people who like would rather die than commit the slightest faux pas. So she's been drilling me for months now about what is appropriate for them to wear. Um, and earlier in the week, she asked me if my father should wear a sports jacket. And I said, "Well, like it's not going to be a super formal wedding by any means. I don't think that like fashion wise he needs to have a jacket, but it's still cold in Atlanta. So like, for
Yeah,
practical reasons and for it to like match stuff, like a sports jacket is not a bad idea."
I was gonna say it's going to be that's April 1st, right?
Yes.
Yeah, April 1st. It's gonna be chilly,
Yeah, yeah. Right
almost
now
definitely.
it's like 60s during the day and 40s in overnight. Like when I wake up, it's 40 degrees outside. Um so yeah, so then today, okay, she's psychotic. Today she asked me if the men are going to be wearing sports jackets or suits. And like, not to show the fact that I am a lesbian who both like leans neutral to lipstick myself and also prefers neutral to lipstick, but I didn't know that there was a difference between sports jacket and suit. I thought that it was like bikinis, where the only difference is that sometimes they're sold as a set and sometimes they're sold as separates. And
Honestly,
I,
I don't know a difference either.
okay,
Oh,
good. And
I'm gonna pass out. So, okay, best bit of fashion advice I can give to all the people out there, because I feel like all the queers have learned this. It's time for the straights. If your shirt doesn't fit you, do not wear a tie with it. Just please stop this. This is a sin
that's
against God,
fair.
nature, and all the demons in hell. Like there
That's
is
fair.
just, if your shirt, like, it doesn't have to be fitted, like we don't, and we're not talking about like you have to go designer or anything, but if the shirt doesn't fit, if you put a tie on it, all you're doing is going, did you see how badly my shirt fits? Like that's
Yeah,
all you're doing.
100%.
So please do
Um,
this.
Also, so I sent a photo of this text from my mother to Ashley and Chris. Chris is the one who is getting married. And Ashley and I have been having a conversation for like a half hour now, debating the difference between a suit and a sports jacket. Um, Ashley is ace as fuck. Uh, so she is also completely worthless for this conversation. And the only like man that she really interacts with in her life is her brother and the roommate. And like neither of them are particularly fashionable men. So like it is absolutely like an academic conversation at this point where we are making guesses based on ancient scrolls.
So this is very much a side topic here, but I really want the sequel series to Queer as Folk to be Ace as Fuck. Like I will watch Ace as
That
Fuck
would be
every,
awesome.
like I will watch this show
Yeah,
every
but
week.
where would the drama come from?
The garlic bread, sweetie. The garlic bread.
Yeah, yeah. Ace people have drama. It's just a different kind of drama. People love drama. They just don't know how to like create it for themselves, but like they can there could be drama around them that they will 100% absorb themselves into.
I will pay for a Showtime account if they bring us the series Ace as Fuck. Like I will, like I want to be on the record right now. Like as soon as I saw that, I was just like, Russell T Davies presents Ace as Fuck. And like all of these like Ace stereotypes from like the r/ace subreddit, like all like congregated together like in a fashion poses, like yes, yes, I'm here for this, all of this. They're
So
finally
I'm
for Denmark.
I'm going to back up a little bit because a question was asked and we never answered. As one of the straights, I have no idea what it's supposed to mean and what the other straight idiots think it means. Talking about power bottoms, um, it's actually a really what it is supposed to mean is really simple. It's a dominant bottom.
Yes.
That's all. It's nothing more complex than that. It's
Johnny
just
McGovern's wonderful song "Bossy Bottom," and everything you need to know, like right there, one song.
someone who prefers to bottom, but also prefers to be in control.
And
Not
really, it
the
is
source
a
of all of the power, as it was stated over and over again in It's Always Sunny, deliberately. In case nobody has seen that episode, it was a joke. It was clear that he was wrong in his definition of it. Just
and I
just
have
in
seen
case
it
anybody is like, "Did they really, like, fuck that up?" No, they didn't. It was deliberate.
over the last several months. I've seen it used to mean everything. Like it's just
Yeah.
whatever misunderstanding you could possibly have about that phrase. Like my personal favorite one is I'm going to put on my power bottoms today because I need to go out into the world and take control. And I'm just like, oh girl, that really doesn't mean what
Oh.
you think it means, girl. No, no,
Oh, honey.
yeah,
Oh,
like
honey,
no.
no.
So not usually dominate me, but do as I say. More usually it's a lie down and I'm gonna ride you.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, like, our parts are not fully analogous, but I don't think it is a bad comparison to, like, just to, like, get the mental framework going of a woman who is a dominant in a straight relationship. Like, yeah,
If
it
you were
is that role, and like the physical position is what it is, but that's yeah.
Raven says, I legitimately don't understand the nature of top and bottom dynamics in sex, so this is all Greek to me regardless. I feel in this context, Greek to me may have unfortunate
Yeah,
connotations.
yeah, absolutely.
And so if you are not squeamish about sexual terms, and if you're here, you're probably not. Do just listen to "Bossy Bottom" by Johnny McGovern because it will explain this to you. You will see the dynamics in action. Like, mm.
yeah, yeah, top and bottom is just who sticks their junk in whom. But dom and sub are not synonymous with top and bottom. Synonymous.
I can even mispronounce it. Wow, I tried and I failed.
um,
Also, it's important to remember that in gay culture, because there's a lot of toxic masculinity that has boiled into, especially gay men's culture, there is a very particular top culture of like, and no one is going to bottom me. That has kind of gone away a little
Yes.
bit, but is still very much there.
Yes. And
yeah,
it's such a weird thing because I feel like they're taking it from the straights
Yes.
who,
yep.
absolutely say shit like that. Well, it's not gay if you're giving it. Like that what?
Yeah, because they're assigning uh top as masculine and bottom as feminine, where
Yes.
that's not that's not true.
Also,
It
it's
can
extremely
be, but
misogynistic.
uh-huh.
Mm,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like I mean, I guess those people tend to be all of the above anyway, so it makes sense that it would also be extremely misogynistic, but like I have to point that out.
cat here. Okay, cat.
Nom nom. I just love piping hot nom 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 in the buns.
Perfect.
Okay, so cat. Thanks to Chloe, we have a pitch that we need to write for a series to Showtime. It's going to be the sequel series to Queer as Folk, but it's going to be Ace as Fuck. And
Mhm.
we need to get like all the characters worked out and write it up as a pitch and see if we can get Becca to help us figure out how we actually pitch this.
I
I
agree.
need the show. I need all the Ace drama. I need the show. I need it so bad.
The straights are the reason everything sucks. Always important to remember there's nothing of value to be adopted from the straights for any other orientation.
Also, white people.
Don't get me started.
No, white people. Oh
Am
my
I the only
God.
one that has been watching that really, really, really sad, sad video of the prince apologizing for colonialism in Jamaica over and over and over again because it gives them life? Like, am I the only one that's been doing this? Because just like, I thought we would be celebrated when we got here, but no, that's not what happened. I'm sorry that my ancestors did terrible, 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 bad, bad, oh, bad. Oh, now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm realizing what a crappy family I come from. Oh, like you can just like see the deconstruction of his mind as he's saying things, and it's
Realization is dawning in as you're giving a
Yeah.
speech that, oh my God, I'm the bad guy.
I'm really not the hero of the story, am I? Oh, oh.
I wonder if he had like stopped in the middle of the speech and said, "Oh God, I'm the bad guy, aren't I?" And
at
how
least
the people would respond.
at least once in the back of his mind, because the I think they have a prime minister currently in Jamaica was like, "Thank you for your speech, but we're getting rid of the queen." Like that's basically how like that. Thank you for your apologies, but we're done with the white lady being in charge of our country. Like we're just sorry, sorry, but not sorry. Bye.
But
We
yeah,
are,
when you,
in fact, not Canada.
I've been following the Justice Jackson confirmation stuff, and oh my God, white people.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I feel like I have to say that every day at work just because both of the managers in my department are black. And I'm like, I know you're thinking it, so I'm just going to say it for you so you don't feel like you're offending me by saying it. Fucking white people. Don't
It's
worry. I will say it for you.
it is rather embarrassing, I must say, and why I constantly when people point out, "Hey, you're white," I'm like, "No, whiteness does not exist. Whiteness is a construct that we have made to lump a lot of other people together so that they would have a demographic advantage over others. I am primarily Irish with Dutch roots. Like, no, no, those are real
I
ethnicities.
don't know how much that helps you.
Oh no, it's not that it oh against the white supremacists in the region, it makes their brain kind of crack a little bit.
Oh, that's good.
Because
That's
they start
good.
thinking about that, and they're because I've noticed that they've started saying that they're Anglo-Saxon supremacists more, and I'm just like, that's
Mm.
you, but your family is. I know your family. Y'all are French.
Wait, I was just about to
Like,
say, like, are you actually Anglo-Saxon?
yeah, like we're descendants of the Beatles, and they're like from southern France. Like you can't even claim like Norman heritage, like because I'm related to the Beatles too by marriage. So like, yeah, no, you're from like you're at best a Celt.
Yeah.
Sorry. It gets really
I
fun when you get really
so
ethnographic.
yesterday, um, I was watching true crime because I'm a middle-aged white woman. And the murderer, they were introducing him, they were giving his background, and they were like, he was born of a Japanese mother and a Caucasian father. And I was like, I don't think that's the correct way to say any of that. Like, that's not, I don't, those don't compare properly, and I don't like what just happened.
It's not like the others. One of these things does not belong.
Yeah. Is is the father American? We just say American. I
One's a country, one's a shade of skin color.
Yeah.
Did you see the clapback that I just lost her name, but the lady who wrote How to Be Anti-Racist did at Ted Cruz the other day?
No.
Because he used the children's book that she wrote to try to explain that it's basically not for children, but it is written in the form of a children's book of like, you have to teach kids to be racist. Like that's not innately who they are. And he tried to use that against Ketanji Brown Jackson in the hearings. And she's like, it's so must be so wonderful, Miss Jackson, that they can't find anything to use against you, so they attack you with my book.
Hmm.
You must have lived such a blessed life that
Yeah.
you have nothing to go after you with other than this other person who is not you wrote a book once. I'm just like,
And we are mad about it.
And we're mad. That's such a beautiful backhanded compliment to Mr. Cruz. Like, yes. What does this have to do with anything? She's not the white lady who wrote the. Wait, what?
Yeah, and she doesn't bring up critical race theory because it's not a law thing, it's an education thing,
Yeah.
and they're using it time after time after time against her. It's like, you do realize that you're using something that's not part of her, like, being hired as a way to attack black people, because that's all you're doing.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, it's a whole hot mess. Also,
oh,
like, I love the fact that they're calling out Biden because he said that he wanted to put a black woman in that position. Like, how dare you use demographics like that? Like, that's literally how the first woman and the first black man ended up on the bench, is because the presidents who put them there said, I would like a woman and I would like a black man here. Like, that's literally how it's always been done, but okay.
mhm.
And I feel like we're going to be able to use in philosophy classes going forward, like so many videos to explain this is what hypocrisy is. How can you say you want to choose a black woman? That is wrong when you know it should have gone to a white man. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You're
I,
applying the
I
standard
just
to doing
realized
that.
something.
What? Is this a hypocrisy? Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Everything is a hypocrisy.
And it's spring and racism is blooming.
Hypocrisy. Oh.
Hypocrisy. Oh, oh, hey. Oh, hypocrisy. Sorry. Oh, God. Maybe we should sprint, although I am definitely not in the mindset to go into my erotic story now that I'm full of righteous anger.
Okay, Persephone, I just have to say real quick, I think that is an insult to douche canoes.
This is fair. I will be using the sprint to eat Taco Bell, so it is what it is.
What a lesbian sentence.
It's fair. It's fair.
We'll be making coffee and screaming into the void. How do I ideate a bunch of flash fiction? Ah!
Oh my God.
Yesterday, I said, I'm gonna go take a 10 and just like shove this tuna sub down my throat. And as I said it, I was like, man, if I was a better lesbian erotica writer, there'd be a sex position called shoving a tuna sub down my throat. And I just can't figure out what it is.
Honestly, sweetie, have you checked Urban Dictionary? Because it might already be there.
I didn't think about
There's a
it.
lot
I
of
will.
cursed things that people have like figured out drunk and then went, I'm adding this to Urban Dictionary. And did.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Please do not use Urban Dictionary as a source of actual sex positions. You will injure yourself.
I'm picturing that as something, it's upside down like a handstand type of thing, but
I mean,
I'm trying to figure out how the sub part works into it.
oh, right, right. That's really the issue. Without like things getting really horrifying.
Yeah, because then
Yeah,
you're getting
yeah,
into alien parts.
yeah.
So
Um,
you can make it an alien or erotica.
there we go. I could do that. Persephone, I am either sorry that I ruined tuna or am proud that I have made tuna even better for you.
Spence says, I'm going to be doing that too, Charlie. I'm going to hate myself come April 1st.
same.
Wait, what's going
Please.
on April 1st? I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
dumb right now.
They're thinking of planning on doing uh, a flash fiction a day for the month of
Oh,
April, which is, I mean,
oh,
that's 30,000 words, so it's less than a nano, but
yeah. I mean, I did it. Like that's how I have 100 erotic shorts. So it's doable, but like It gets rough if you don't have like some sort of a solid plot, not plot, prompt, a solid prompt per day.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to get figured out. Because right now it's like I have a whole folder of story ideas that would make great epic series,
Mm.
not flash fictions. So
So you get the a big list of prompts.
that's basically what I'm going to be working on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also need to figure out how I can meld Zelda into my weird fantasy world because somebody pointed out, because I was asked, well, what are the Zelda like elements in your weird fantasy mashup world? And I was like, what is my equivalent of the Triforce? I have so many questions now. Who's my weird sleeping princess that keeps getting kidnapped? Oh, so many
Wait,
questions.
Spence, why are you doing 52 flash fictions? That's not how many days are in April. What's going on?
Oh, she wants to release them one a week for a year.
Oh, got it. I have the incredible goal of, I believe I set it to 7K for Camp Nano. Just to do this one erotica that I told somebody I would join their collab. And now I'm like, oh, I guess I have to actually do it.
My brain heard 100 erotic shorts, and for a moment my brain short circuited trying to imagine 100 different ways you could make shorts, the clothing, erotic.
I mean, I feel like you do it all the same way, but with a different print.
That does
And
sound like a
fabric.
industry.
Yeah.
There's so many
Yeah.
ways you can do lace, though.
I mean, that's fair. I guess there's probably like 10 different ways that I could actually physically make them erotic. And then it would be print or like alien dick because that's my go-to when I run out of ideas. Yeah. That is a lot of hot pants, yes.
And variations of openings in various places.
Yeah.
Different
My
combinations
brain,
of
of course,
openings.
immediately went to the 70s style running short where the opening was just like the leg hole with stuff falling out of it. I mean, it happened. Like, Kat,
Cat
why
says
are
I'm at
you?
work, people.
This is your own fault. You know what this stream is. I apologize for nothing.
Yeah, if you're on this at work,
You
if you have
chose
this
this for
playing somewhere
yourself.
where humans can hear it, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Kat is going to be off next weekend and able to be here.
Oh, yeah, next weekend, I will literally be driving to Florida, so I will not be here.
Uh,
Yeah. Also, right now, I have Chonk in a harness, and he's just kind of cowering in a corner, because he's gotta get used to it, because he's gonna be living in a box for 2 days, and I'm like, "This is the best we're going to be able to do for you, is, putting you on a harness and setting you on the ground for you to, like, roll over pathetically, but, like, I will feel better that you have touched other ground outside of your, cage."
did he do that adorable fainting goat thing that a lot of cats do when
You
the
know,
harness goes on?
he didn't. I know exactly what you're talking about. He didn't. He is acting like he's being scruffed. And he is mostly sticking to one spot. He's not trying to get out. He's not having a scrum at me. But he is every time he tries to move, he does silly walks. And instead of just like getting used to it, he just like takes those 5 silly steps to a new hiding place. And then yesterday he tried to jump on the bed and it was hilariously wrong. I had to physically pick him up and put him on the bed. Um, yeah, and because of the harness, I think he was actually really calm for that. So I mean, he's traumatized, but everything traumatizes him, and hopefully one day we will have a life where he's not traumatized anymore. Cat's gonna cat.
Yes. All right. Are we ready to do a sprint?
Yes, let's do this.
I got the Zen rocks. Hey, don't start when I make the screen bigger. What part of make this full size makes you think I pushed this play button?
Do it.
All right. Then I'm going to push the play button. In three, two, one, go. Oh, that one is over. It is ring-a-ding-a-dinging.
Ooh.
That, what the hell?
Here in Atlanta, at any given moment, it's either raining water or it's raining tree semen. Yeah, we are in that season here.
The weather that we got today here in Michigan was 40 and snowing,
Gross.
which is not supposed to happen.
I
And not only
mean,
was it snowing, but it was accumulating. It's like, how are you
oh,
doing this?
yeah, that's pulling a trick at that point if it's actually accumulating.
Yeah. Here you go.
Yes, that is
Botanical
exactly what it
bukkake.
is. I love I am in no way calling Raven out by this. I am 100% sincere about this. I love that Raven is equal parts. I don't understand these sex acts. And also like the first one to crack the sex joke.
Yep. Spencer, snow on the fucking ground with 40 fucking 40 Fahrenheit weather. Wow, I could
It's
not.
fucking, it's fine.
Yeah, except that my brain saw the F and made it fucking, but it was
Yeah,
actually Fahrenheit.
yeah. Maybe. I
And no one
mean,
knows
we're
yours.
American. It's 40 fucking degrees, right?
Truth. I know my role and I stick to it religiously, Chloe.
I support that. 100% support that.
I just think there are areas in his sex education that are lacking, namely the queer areas.
Yes.
Hang out long enough, you'll learn.
We are good at that.
But bukkake is it's universal.
I mean, it's not, but
True, it's I don't I can't imagine very much lesbian bukkake
yeah,
happening.
yeah, it would be extremely challenging. I mean, don't put it past us, but extremely challenging.
There would have to I mean,
Well,
I'm pretty sure. Okay.
I'm just gonna say I refuse to elaborate further. But as soon as you said that, my brain went, "Oh, but here," and I went, "Brain, brain, no,
Yet.
A group of
no."
squirters, yeah. Now, what would that be called? Like, because it's not like a gaggle or a murder.
I don't know. I feel like we're at a point where isn't it just a circle jerk of gays now? Like,
Yes.
No, sorry, not a circle
A
jerk of gays. It's a
bukkake of
circle
gays,
jerk.
as it were.
It's a circle jerk of frat boys.
I believe the term is actually a brunch of gays.
a
Yes.
gays.
Yeah.
I support this. If it's not, it is from now on. So let it be written. So let
Yeah. As
And
in, like, I'm
a
talking
U-Haul of
about, like,
lesbians,
the LGBT plus community as a whole when I say gays in this context.
or is it
Uh,
is it a Birkenstock of lesbians
it is absolutely a Birkenstock of lesbians,
or a
yes.
flannel of lesbians?
I mean, it depends on how butch they are. Yeah.
and now I just want to read Lumberjanes again.
It's a mimosa of gays.
Okay, so we had one of the rich heiresses in town actually come up to my husband at one point and be like, "I always loved coming here for brunch because y'all make the best mimosas I never understood before. But you're gay, right?" Yes, it is the drink of our people. Yes.
Yeah. It is the national drink of gay.
And I was like,
It
and he was
is,
like,
in fact, literally the only thing I drink, alcohol-wise is I will have mimosas about 3 times a year.
I've never had one. Are they decent?
do you like
What?
orange juice?
I like orange juice, but
Do you
I'm
like
not.
things
I
that
don't
sparkle?
see. It's the champagne part because I don't think I've had it tasted champagne that I liked.
It basically, the orange juice overpowers it, so it's just fizzy orange juice. It's basically orange soda that gets you drunk.
Yeah, have you ever drunk an orange soda and thought this would be good if it wasn't nearly as sweet as it is? Um, and maybe just a little bit tart, then you've got a mimosa.
Hmm. Might be willing to try it.
Yeah. And if you actually want it to be sweeter, then dip your foot into the shallow with a Bellini instead of mimosa. Yeah,
Yes,
Bellinis are amazing.
they
But
are.
that's peach, isn't it?
It is peach. Oh, do you not like peach?
I don't hate it, but on the list of fruits that I will eat, it's pretty low.
So
It's
I
it's it's lower than what's his face?
Girl,
I don't like actual peaches. Peaches themselves freak me out, but I like the flavor of peach, and it pairs very well with champagne. It is, like I said, it's sweeter than a mimosa, so it eases you in. Oh, but you could also, if you just get yourself like there's the sparkling fruit juice, there's like the Izzy stuff. If you get the like orange or the tangerine Izzy, that is basically what a mimosa tastes like. There's very little difference between the sparkling fruit juice and the mimosa.
See, I've seen the Izzy's around, and I thought they were like the sparkling, the barely flavored sparkling waters that are
No,
around.
no,
Oh,
Izzy's are actually sparkling fruit juice. They
oh,
are full
nice.
flavor fruit juice. I love them.
Okay,
They're not like
I could
the
get behind
LaCroix
that.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
They also have
LaCroix.
some like there's there's like a vanilla flavor that is fantastic. Like I don't they're just really nice because they're not nearly as sweet as sodas, but it's like drinking a soda but not sweet. It's like drinking a Fresca.
See, when you were talking about making a mimosa more drinkable, I was thinking of adding vanilla.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Then it would be like a creamsicle, and that
Uh-huh.
would also be delicious.
I love creamsicles.
Mhm.
and just say vanilla vodka and orange juice is magic.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
bet. Now I want that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Drinking
really good.
sounds
We used to do that a lot.
Oh yes, Kat is doing a 16-hour stream on the first day of Camp Nano on the
That is
first.
insane, but I support you. Again, I
But
will be at a gay wedding, so I cannot attend, but good luck to you all.
I don't trust any plans made for April 1st because the universe tends to put up its finger on that day and say, "Oh,
I
you thought."
I've also been a bridesmaid on Halloween, so I'm kind of used to this. That's apparently what I do. Um, a wedding party on novelty days. Oh, so completely unrelated to anything, but I saw The Lost City last night. I saw it because I have T-Mobile, so I have T-Mobile Tuesdays, and they were doing $4 tickets. And I will go to the theater and watch any movie for $4. So I didn't have like high expectations going in. It was amazing, and I loved it, and I highly recommend it to everybody.
Remember when we had dollar theaters?
Mm,
Yes.
yes. See, I
I
was
did a lot of stupid things at dollar theaters, but I do remember them.
I didn't think we were talking about that, but yeah.
Oh, that response reminds me of something that I was thinking during the sprint. Um, so there is this new aspiration in The Sims called Villainous Valentine, and one of the parts of it is you have to break up 10 different couples.
Oh, that's
And
really
I'm
easy to do on Sims, so I support that.
it is, but it's not something that's in my nature. And I was thinking I need to get Charlie to channel their teenage self and give me some
I
lessons.
was waiting for the call out. Like, do I call myself out or do I just wait
Just
for
wait
it?
and see what
Like,
happens. Wait for
it's
the
on its
inevitable.
way. It's like, I am not a homewrecker. It's not my fault that I was young and cute.
I don't know, unless they were my Sims, I never felt any guilt about destroying anybody else. Like, "Oh, I need a cemetery, I can make this happen." Um,
Well,
I
I
want
have
I want that sim right there, let me get rid of that sim right there, perfect.
I have this idea of making like a perfect file and getting all my favorite Sims like perfection. And but in order to do that, I have to break up uh relationships that I want to keep together. So I'm actually gonna have to break up the relationships and then put them back together.
Yeah, you can do that, it's Sims, they love that shit.
Um Except the first one was really easy because it was Thorn Bailey and he can suck all the dicks in the world. Um if you have Get Famous at all, he is the one that he's a celebrity and he basically inserts himself into anything you are trying to do as a celebrity and takes all the people that are watching you to him. He's like, "Oh no, I'm here." And he does it every fucking time in every fucking place you go. And so not only did I break up his marriage, but I also married him and used him as my first sacrifice for outliving five spouses.
Nice.
Because it's I want you dead as soon as possible.
I like how they just politely say outliving.
Yes. Well,
And
you can
not
technically
and
do
the
it.
living.
You
What was
could
that?
technically do it by, quaffing age reducing potions one after another and not aging so your spouses keep, you know,
Oh,
dying
yeah.
of old age.
Like basically creating a vampire.
Or you could be a vampire because they don't age either.
We're right. Duh, that is an option now.
Hmm. So you can
Who's
do
got
it.
like a weird fetish for humans?
Yeah, I think in terms of like stories told in the Sims world. Like you don't get there are no like birthdays to get, a year older. When you have a birthday, you go to a different age state. Um, but I mentally picture all these tasks that they're doing because I complete aspirations one after another, and I have this running commentary in my brain that they're like working from instructions from God. So when neighbors and stuff are like, "What the hell are you doing? Why are you doing this to people?" I have no choice. These are my instructions.
Is what I do.
What else would you do?
Oh, another thing that I can say to you guys since ain't nobody gonna read my erotic story. because I'm not advertising it anywhere.
We will find it.
um, so I can give away something that I I decided is happening. So there is this thing that I have discussed where the guy living down the hall basically groomed the main character. Um, and he's semi stalking him, but not really at the very beginning because the main character is actually letting him in and to, to do the dirty because he was groomed to do it. Anyway, uh, the guy down the hall keeps kind of stalking in the sense of he knows the comings and goings of anyone in the apartment, and he tends to always be out in the hall taking trash to the trash chute. Well, here's the thing. The bags of trash are actually bits of his father, and his father is like chopped up in the bathtub in the apartment because, that's something that happens in erotic fiction.
What is he doing to mitigate the smell?
Not enough.
Okay. Okay, so that's where this is going. Also, is it wrong that that was initially my thought? I watch a lot of true crime.
I thought
Yeah,
that was
I
just a
I
natural
can't
writing question.
I can't seem to stick to one genre. I like to do them all at the same time. Like, this is also urban fantasy.
That's why paranormal romance is great. Because we could do like whatever plot line we want, and then we can shove like shit from other, other genres in it. And like, no, 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 it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, except I
If
don't do the
there's
happily
such a
ever
thing.
after, and so I couldn't the paranormal romance community would be like, "Shun the non-believer."
Yeah, yeah, probably.
Unless it's that one book that I wrote that I have been very clear since it first came out that it's not a romance. That it's like, it's okay. They'll get together in the end. No, no.
Except this one might do happily ever after. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, you know, oh, we had this discussion last week and I wanted to ask you, but you weren't here to ask. It's like, oh, this is a Chloe question and she's not here. So I'll have to save it for next week because it's an erotic fiction question.
Okay.
How do you decide how much of your kinks you will put
Uh,
through?
how much of my kinks?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm Demi. So like there aren't that many kinks.
Ah.
That being said, I'm also OCD. And that means that my brain is just absolutely filled with kinks that I don't want there, and I shove it onto the paper. But if you're actually trying to be like a published successful erotica writer, with erotica, like you can do different things, but if you do want to write in a bunch of different categories, you really need to write like pods of those categories. um so like usually the ones who are most successful, like every single one of their books is hot wives, and like every 2 weeks they put out a new hot wife, um or whatever the kink happens to be. So like the sky is the limit. Well, Amazon law is the limit on the kinks that you can write, but if you do want to get a good fan base, you really have to like stick to the same kink over and over again, or be able to consistently pump out multiple kinks and like
Phrasing.
different um lines at the same time, because also erotica writers want you to be putting out books frequently.
Also, remember that that line that she mentioned from Amazon changes based on book sales because Amazon is very clear that they do not allow non-con on their site,
Oh
but
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See, Raven got it when I said phrasing. Snort, pump out.
Yeah, yeah. No, I knew as I was saying it, but also I'm sleepy and stress sick and everything else. So if I'm coming up with any words at all, I am going to use them, whether they are double entendres or not.
Yeah, no, I was thinking more like, see, but you said you don't have a lot of kinks, so you are not the person to ask.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. But the other, of course, the flip side of that is though that really there's no matter what your kinks are, there's a market for it. Um,
Rule
that's
42, yes.
what was that?
Rule 42, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, exactly. So I feel like there's no restrictions, no matter what your kinks are. You just have to know that depending on what they are, you might not be able to put them in certain places. So from like a marketing standpoint, um, the question is more nuanced, but like absolutely. And also like you do kind of want to keep the same kink level. If you are writing um really niche kinks, you can write multiple of them, but like you gotta be careful because your vanilla readers are gonna freak out if suddenly, like, clown balloons are happening. It is a kink, I don't know.
No, not clown balloons. Clown balloon 4.
Yeah, there you go. But, like, keep in mind well, you know, I'm gonna take that partially back because I was just gonna point out Omegaverse, where like anything goes, but also there's sweet romance in Omegaverse. And in Omegaverse writers who do both like soft and hard, um, all do well. I mean, not they don't all do well, but like they all have the potential to do just as well as their counterparts. So I don't really know how the readership works on Omegaverse because I don't read it myself or pay attention to stuff about that. But it is a good example of like it might not even matter so much anymore, like that your levels are different from book to book.
I tend to do more erotic horror,
Yeah,
where,
yeah, dark erotica, dark romance. It's a major genre.
but my horror is more like Stephen King, where sometimes it's science fiction because it's
Yeah,
not
yeah, no,
scary at all.
that is
So
absolutely a thing. Like
just
that's not unusual at all. That is yeah, there's all kinds of fucked up. Just like with fucking hentai. There's all that horror hentai out there.
I mean,
No, please don't feel obligated to look that up just because I said it.
yeah, don't.
It gets pretty grotesque.
I mean, we spent, I think, 20 minutes on the stream the other day where I was trying to explain exactly how in Wuthering Heights it is ambiguous whether or not necrophilia happens in the story. And because
I
I said
don't
that it was a,
remember that scene.
I said, if you when you in the book, there are a couple ambiguously necrophilic scenes in the book, and I was trying to explain what the phrase ambiguously necrophilic, like he definitely loves a dead woman. The question is
Oh,
how
I
much
mean,
Okay,
he
the
visits her dead body regularly.
you
you
know
also
how
have the
there's
whole
like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies and the other ones? Well, this came up right as you were talking about Wuthering Heights. So it's Wuthering Heights and tentacles.
so there is also, of course, the Tom Petty video for Last Dance with Mary Jane. Necrophilia. But I have to say that like Tentacles is nothing. Tentacles is bog standard. Tentacles is not even nudging the weird line that hentai goes into.
And if you have a really dark sense of humor, I just want to give it a plug. If you've never heard the song Dearly Departed by Kathy Marr, I highly recommend that you look it up because it's a necrophilic love story from the corpse's point of view. Like my mom always told me somebody would love me. I didn't realize I'd have to wait till after I was dead.
Aw.
Like that's the story of the song. And it's like if you ever thought that there's no way you could get feelings about it, it's special. You should listen to it. It's amazing. And it's a folk song, so it's like all pretty and well sung with like soft instrumentation. So
The pumped up kicks duality.
oh, it's because like she's singing so earnestly. Like if you're not paying attention to the lyrics, it's like, oh, this is such a sweet love story. And then like you pay attention to what's actually going on. You're like, oh my, oh no.
Right. The pumped up kicks thing where you're like, this is a bop, and then you listen to lyrics, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and I didn't know anything about that song before, um, actually until like a few years ago, and I still didn't like look deeply into it. I'm like, oh, okay, it's about something dark, and I just went in and fully listened to it for the first time like a month ago,
Oh yeah, that
and the commenters on that music video are dark.
yeah.
Oh
I mean,
my
they are
god.
on the internet.
I'm just like, oh my god. I could never get away with saying something like this.
And as a person who's a fan of like dark music, where like one of my favorite songs right now, like I don't know if it's a song of a murderer singing to a victim singing to their murderer, or just a love song. I'm just not sure. The lyrics are ambiguous enough; it could be any of these three things. Um, yeah, sometimes what the pop culture gets obsessed with confuses me. Because
Like 50 Shades of Grey.
yeah, or like half the output of Outcast. Like
Yeah.
Hey Ya is one of the saddest songs I've ever heard in my life. And it's just like, let's put like I remember that like whole era where like it's time to get the party started. They put on Hey Ya. I'm like, do you have any idea what this song is about?
Yeah.
Like, this song is all about how life is meaningless, so we might as well just put on something to make you dance, you stupid idiots who aren't even paying attention to what I'm saying. This is why I want to die. You're dancing
Yes.
right now, aren't you? You're dancing. He's just yelling at you and mocking you through the entire song, and you're proving him right by
Yeah.
not knowing that.
Yes. They are also notorious for those songs that are either about that or, horrible events from our history or, horrible things happening in people's lives. And all those songs are bops.
Truth.
Also, I have like a weird bad experience with Outkast. So like I always have like a little bit of that like trigger when I hear a reference to them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, 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 it's totally fine. It was my own fault, my drug use.
Ah,
Um, I was shrooming real hard at a festival, and apparently, I don't know which one it was, but apparently one of them are super prima donnas and got real fucking mad about the color of the curtains that were on the stage. So they like refused to go out because the curtains were the wrong color. This is again at a music festival. It's an
that
EDM
sounds like an
festival. I
Andre
have
thing.
no idea why Outkast was even headlining an EDM festival, except that it was in Georgia. And I somehow ended up standing in a dark hole for like an hour as like I slowly lost my fucking shit. And then finally, I was like, wait, maybe I should go to a place with light. So I kind of had one of those Mothman moments, but I did not climb the light. I just stood under the light staring up at it for a while. And then I went off to see Cruella's set. And as I was like walking out to Cruella, Outcast finally started playing, and I was like, "Fuck you guys." And then I immensely enjoyed Cruella, and so I hated Outcast for a while, but I kind of got over it, but I still have those thoughts.
As I'm hearing your story, I can just hear the message going over the loudspeakers. Don't do the brown acid. The brown acid is bad.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. But
I'm a big
I'm
fan
not
of
an
Big Boy.
idiot. I bring the drugs with me
Yeah,
because yeah.
I'm a big fan of Big Boy, and that sounds like an Andre five. What is it, 5,000 thing?
Yes.
Because I mean, you got to remember, like when Big Boy's last album came out, Andre's official Twitter account just put out a thing going, "I don't know why people over 40 continue to put out rap albums. They're just not young, and it's not cute anymore." And I'm just like, "You bitch!"
Yeah, yeah. No, you're probably absolutely right. I just didn't wanna, like, be like,
So,
it was definitely that person when it wasn't, but you are probably right.
so I just, if somebody in Outcast did a bad thing, was it Andre? It was Andre, wasn't it? Like I could
You're right.
because that is the cattiest thing I have ever seen in my
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
And that was a good album. Anyway,
I don't disagree.
give him
Oh,
enough money, he'll come back and do another one.
Oh, yeah, yeah, and then
These
I'll be
are
like,
not
"I never tweeted
principles.
that," and we'll be like, "What about this tweet?" I'll be like, "No, that wasn't me."
Though I am enjoying the pre-war that is taking place because Snoop Dogg's bringing Death Row Records back, and Dre is like, you no longer have rights to any of my stuff, right? And like, I'm just like, ooh, are we gonna have another one of those?
Yeah, yeah, I'm
Well,
down.
it is the '90s.
Mhm. I'm down for that.
Just
I
as long
love
as you
the
bring
90s.
Tupac out of retirement, like I'm fine. If we're gonna do the '90s, let's do it the fun way.
Yes.
Mm. Yeah, except I don't want to do the 90s when I'm over 40. Um, I want to. I want a young body back.
I'm I am sorry that is not an option.
I want my
Okay,
body.
but can I at least be so drugged out I don't feel the pain anymore?
Yes, that is absolutely an option. It's called opiates.
Oh, my sweet, sweet opiates. So, um,
They are delicious and they fit right up the nose.
for all of Woo! Okay, so for all of my Shady Pines crew, I have been using this stuff lately, which is Magic Pain Eraser. Like this brand in particular, it is phenomenal. Like it doesn't work on like the very severe pain days, but like the general joint pain from oh god, why is the weather happening?
Right.
It's
Excellent.
wonderful to be able to. It's like it is like a magic eraser. You just start putting it on and going, oh, my pain's going away. Like it's wonderful. I highly recommend it. I'm pretty sure there's crack in this.
My mother is trying to give my cat CBD again. I don't know why she feels she needs to be my cat psychiatrist, but now that I am going to be moving down to her area, I feel like my cat's just going to end up getting a whole bunch of drugs, and I'm going to have to accept that.
If it wasn't for the CBD, I don't know how I could live with my dog because we get a lot of thunderstorms and they do terrible things to the inside of her brain. And now she's just like, she just goes into the kitchen where we keep her treats and just looks at them like it's time. Like,
Um,
and then she sleeps.
Tonk, Tonk woke me up at 3 o'clock in the morning the other day to tell me it was raining. It wasn't even thundering. I I wake up to him just going, "Yeah." Like, "God damn, Chonk." And then he, like the night after that, there wasn't even anything going on. I just wake up to him slapping my ass and then running off, and I'm like, "What is happening?" I don't I hopefully once life becomes stable again, I can, like, make him something kind of normal. He's also, like the other thing is that he is a really picky eater, so I don't know if I'll be able to actually give him anything. I was able to give him composure for a little while, and then he just like spits them out now when I give them to him. So I don't know. If my mother gives me cat CBD, I will try it, but
I'm
he
just saying, if
doesn't.
your cat is anything like mine, just put it on the floor and go, no, no, and be very adamant, like, this is not for you, no. And the cat will just zoom by and swallow it before they even know what's happening.
No, he's like he doesn't even he won't eat people food unless it's cheese. Like the only people food he is interested in is cheese. Um, Not even like we've tried to give him like pills wrapped in ham and like in hot dogs and stuff like that. He will not touch people meat. That sounded weird. Um, um he will only eat cat. um
Meat prescribed for cats.
Yes. And it could be like he's got a real weak tummy. So even like he also gets UTI. So he's supposed to be on the medicated stuff for his food. And we can give him the dry medicated, but he gets really sick off of the canned medicated. Um, we've tried giving him the Dinovite kitty shakies, and he won't touch that. Like the only thing we can do is put it under his food, and then like whatever sticks to the bottom of his food, he'll eat. He won't touch most cat treats. I don't know. He's a pain in the butt.
So I know it's too late because I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe and I had to mute myself so you didn't hear the cackle continuing for as long as it did. But I'm still going to say it because I think it's funny. That just sounds like the log line for your next book. He won't even touch human meat, people meat. Like, that's just, that
That's
sounds like
fair.
the next
I do
human
have a
book.
shifter novel where he doesn't understand why he's attracted to the human, and it turns out it's because she's a cat. So he would only touch cat meat, and he didn't understand, and turned out she was cat meat.
Oh my. I'm better. I have to breathe again.
That's fair.
Which, by the way, people, start getting your furry fiction like ready for about in 5 to 10 years when the children growing up with f- r- turning red are like looking for that and able to buy it because I feel like more than like the secret downside of this that nobody's talking about because everybody's like obsessed with like what puberty like I'm like you realize this is a why you should be a furry movie, right? Like you should be the mascot with all of your friends. Like, mm.
Yeah, that's that's the weird thing. You see so much hate for furries, but when you look around, there are way more of them than you realize.
Furries
Yes.
gave us the vaccine. Furries run the internet. Okay, like for and I highly recommend if you are a writer, get yourself a collection of attack furries. They're really good when you have panels.
This is
I know,
true.
I know from experience. I have a little pack of attack furries that follow me around because they like my stuff, and they have helped me out on a couple times. When that one guy who hated me for reasons I don't understand kept showing up and doing terrible things.
And they would
But
handle it.
Oh, they would handle it. It was great. It was rather it was better than my panel was watching the furries handle the heckler. Like I think that's why attendance came up and went up for a while. Like we're here for the show, not you. The furries are gonna get somebody. It's fine. We're waiting.
see, Persephone says they're out there, cue the X-Files theme. The scary thing is I think there's more than so many more than we realize that it's more like be afraid of when they realize they outnumber us.
I just can't wait till the trans panic finally like subsides and some right winger realizes that there are furries.
Right.
Because that's like maybe the NBs are next, but they're kind of lumping us in with the trans panic right now, but they still don't understand us enough to really lump us in with it. So we might be the next thing, but they're definitely gonna like go after the furries, and I'm just like ready for it because you don't attack a furry; they have claws.
And I'm just waiting for the Ben Shapiro rage because he secretly wants to be one.
I can't wait for somebody to send him a bad dragon and him not to know what it is.
um, yeah, and now that I say his name, I realize he's the one I was thinking of as the fruit I'd rather eat slightly more than a peach.
No. I
Yeah,
I would literally eat the stone of the peach first.
I don't know. I feel like it might fix him. Like nobody. I'm just saying. Like if you are trans and you are in the world and you ever have a chance to have sex with, like I've got a like. There's a list of conservatives. Maybe it would fix them because they are way too obsessed with how we do it. Like you don't think about how somebody has sex that much if you don't want to play along. Like you just don't.
Charlie, Charlie, there's no way you're telling me that Ben Shapiro has never either blown a dude or been blown by a dude.
I am not sure that Ben Shapiro has ever had sex.
I,
Have you not seen his
okay.
discussion of
We
WAP?
do we do have evidence that he has never had straight sex successfully. I don't know if I said that properly, but you know what I was trying to say. That was a lot of letters I didn't want to say. Um, yeah, we do know that. That's fair.
I mean, we're
I
not
think
going to have actual provable proof without videotaping, and that's not something that happens. But I mean, he has freely admitted to not being a racist because of the number of black men he slept with. Because, that's how you're not a racist, by fetishizing black men.
Yes.
fetishization is not. Oh, oh, sweetie. Though on the Schadenfreude watch train, if anybody has missed the Glenn Beck calling Dave Rubin in to scold him for being evil and having children, oh, Dave, you brought this on yourself. Like, I feel sorry for the kids. I really do. Like, no kid should be raised in this like circus of hate that his father has created for them. But it couldn't happen to a worse person. So, yay.
Yeah.
That's not the win you think it is, bro.
Yeah. Just.
And still,
Also, I do think that like pretty much all of us could be adapted by furries if we just just went with it. Like I feel like most of us are happy in costumes and like yeah. Yeah, I think any normal person could be swayed into the furries if like that was the direction the world was going.
Well, see, I just like when people get really like on their high horse about it because a couple of people have because they're like, I heard you say that you're writing a story about magic furries. You know, furries are blah 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 blah. And I'm like, technically, by the basic definition of a furry, you're a furry. They're like, no, I'm not. I'm like, do you like Bugs Bunny? Well, yes. Technically, that is all that is required to be a furry is to like entertainment that involves anthropomorphic animals. That is
Yeah,
basic basal definition. And then watch their face go all Charlie Brown squiggles as they're trying to figure out how they can argue their way back out.
that's not what I meant.
That's not what I meant.
so
Yeah.
Not what any of that means.
that
You
reminds
liked
me of
Robin Hood as a child.
an episode of Drawfee where Karina, one of the hosts of the show, drew a picture of Bugs Bunny as like an problematic internet fuckboy. And and oh my god, that might have made me a furry. That picture. It was just like, oh my god, that is oh wow.
And Spence, I think you might be right because I'm pretty sure he thinks if you like touch your junk, it's masturbation, and he doesn't want to do that. So like, it's never been washed. Like, I agree with you.
Ew.
But as much as you say ew to my maybe wanting to bang him. Um,
Oh no,
it's a, I think that might be a kink of mine is hate fucking the problematic hot
That's
guys.
fair. I accept it in
Because
that context, as
I
long as it's a
also
hate
want
fuck.
I also want to hate fuck Josh Hawley, who is the the
oh, I'm just waiting to
senator.
find out that he has a sex dungeon and there's somebody tied up in it because I don't know how much y'all know about Missouri politics right now, but we're having a big problem with our ex-governor Greitens, who literally had a sex dungeon in the governor's mansion where he had women's like chained up down there against their will and videotaped them being down there and then threatened to put out the videotape of them in the sex dungeon as blackmail to keep them in the sex dungeon. Like this just happened in like the year of our Lord 2018 and it's all in court right now. And Josh Hawley and Greitens were really close friends. So
So
there's a good chance that he's got a sex dungeon with people tied up in it.
Raven says, I had huge crushes on characters like
Okay.
Gadget and in Chippendale's Rescue Rangers, as well as the feline alien cat people from CJ Sherry's Shanner's series of
Oh,
books.
yeah.
Um, I will take that. And how about Minerva Mink from Animaniacs?
Can I just say that Bugs Bunny is the first person that ever made me feel seen? Like, there's been a lot of conversation about this in trans circles lately of like, we just need to adopt Bugs Bunny as our little NB superstar because gender fluid as fuck and had power no matter whether or not
Hmm.
they were a woman or a man. Like, for goodness sakes, like, Bugs was my hero.
We need to stop trying to shoehorn Disney into us and just accept WB as our mascot.
Fair.
Yeah. Like
But
why do
sometimes,
we keep trying to force Disney?
because sometimes we want a Scrooge McDuck in a vault full of money.
Can I
Yeah,
just
exactly.
say, David Tennant voiced Scrooge McDuck, so I mean that causes all kinds of problems.
Oh, so I went off on someone on Facebook this morning. Um, don't know who it was, some overprivileged white woman. Um,
I
straight
still
white
name
woman.
Karen.
Yes. It was a Doctor Who thing that she was talking about. They were talking about companions and the nicknames of the companions, and she referred to Bill Potts as the woman who referred to her sexuality 24/7.
Really? I mean, did you ever see Ace? Like, I know it's older; it's like before the reboot, but like Ace was the living embodiment of "Ooh, a man." I mean, just like if she could have actually made her eyes pop out of her head and her tongue like hit the floor, like that would have been everything you would remember the character from. Because they go to the alien planet and she's like, "Ooh, men," and he's just like, "No, no, I am not going to rescue you from somebody else's dungeon. Like it's not happening. Stop, stop." Like this has been a thing for a while, girl, but you don't see it if it's straight.
um, yeah, so I went off on this woman because um, Council of Geeks did an episode where they broke down the instances of how often Bill Potts talked about her being a lesbian versus how often the sexuality of any of the other companions came up.
Oh God,
And
Rose. Oh,
Bill was second to last,
Hmm.
just above Donna,
Yeah.
because shoving. Here's what I wrote.
great. Quote the scripture.
The only reason it seems that Bill's is the highest is because the straight instances are ignored due to being completely commonplace in society.
Mm-hmm.
The mind literally glosses over them like they didn't happen. Everything about Amy and Rory, Rose and Mickey are 10, Clara and Danny count every line or moment of their relationships as their sexuality being discussed because that's what it is. Bill
Yep.
having to clarify to someone that she didn't fit into their preconceived notions of who she should be in 3 episodes isn't overkill when it's something we deal with all the time when meeting new people. Also, one of those times was for comic relief with the Romans turning the trope on its head.
Which
We
has
never we had never had a main companion who was gay before that. Is showing a few glimpses of what we deal with day in and day out too much? 2 episodes of Bill trying to date and having the date get interrupted and sabotaged by time shenanigans was for comic relief, just like it was when Clara and Danny did it. 2 episodes with Heather bookending the story with a love will save the day plot is exactly what happened with Amy and Rory. Is a
mm-hmm.
companion trying to date only too much when it's the same sex?
Preach.
Yeah.
Are they
I mean,
gay?
that's our entire world right now, right? This ridiculous accusation that any reference to your sexuality, if it's not straight, is therefore shoving your sexuality down children's throats. When
Hmm.
literally it's just you putting a picture of your partner on your desk, like all of the other teachers put pictures of their partners on their desk.
Yep.
Because your partner is the same gender as you, then you are shoving homosexuality down children's throats.
So, Are They Gay just did a wonderful video about queer headcanons for Encanto and how the backlash on that has been so severe. And he doesn't really talk about, like, are any of the headcanons valid? He talks about the nature of discourse around LGBTQ topics. And it's a really, really good video. It really digs in on the scariest word the conservatives have ever heard other than consent, and that is intersectionality. And if you don't understand these issues, or if you want to know more, I highly, highly recommend Are They Gay's latest video on Encanto, because it's beautifully well done and takes no prisoners on any side. Like the discourse is problematic, and here's why. And but yes, if you haven't seen that, definitely check it out.
Oh, and Spence supports the thing you were saying about Bugs Bunny
Yeah,
going to Tiny
Mhm.
Toons.
yeah.
Is that in order to make a Bugs Bunny child counterpart, they had to make a boy and a girl.
Hmm. Which
Yes.
they didn't have to do for any of the other characters. And also, very interestingly, the counterpart, the child counterpart for Elmer Fudd was Elmira.
Hmm.
They made,
Yeah.
which, when you actually look at the way that Elmer Fudd is portrayed, that is, I think, also very telling.
Oh, but Elmira is so funny because she reminds me of me. I would love him and squeeze him and hold him to death.
I loved Tiny Toons. Like, I'm glad that they tried to do something new with Animaniacs, and I really like that. Was it Yak? No, it was Wacko that they officially made NB now, like canonically NB. Which, duh, I watched the original show. Um, but
Yeah.
thank you for making it canon. Thank you.
I
Um,
feel like it's not. I will say for stuff like that, I feel like it's not so much that they had to make it canon as that we just didn't have terms for
oh
these
yeah.
things back then.
Hmm.
So that was always wacko, and there was never any, like, they were never trying to do anything other. It just was what it was, and now we actually have a term to apply. So
which is
so
why like
we are
gender fluid
applying
for
that term.
bugs. Yeah, gender
Yeah.
bugs is gender fluid. There's no way to get around that. Like there's no
Yeah.
definition of that term that does not apply to Bugs Bunny. And that may seem like something that's not necessary, but for a whole bunch of kids, it is so important,
Mhm.
especially with everything that's going on right now. And if Warner Brothers wants to get some good graces back for all of the fuckery that they've been doing for the last like 30 years, and the fact that they're continuing their relationship with Joanna Rowling, um, that would be one way to maybe do that a little bit. Speaking of JK, did you hear all the controversy about the new Hogwarts Legacy game?
No.
No. Okay, so apparently, and I'm going to take their word for it, so that they did not do their homework and vet a person that was being hired for a multi-million-dollar job to make a multi-million-dollar AAA game to look into their backstory. But one of the lead developers for the game still has it is still on the YouTube's an anti SJW YouTube channel where he refers to the Me Too movement as, I quote, a unnecessary moral panic about trying to put men down and not letting them live their normal and God-given lives.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And that is the least cringy thing that he has on that channel. Like
I
that's
mean,
that's the high bar. That's
yeah.
coming nearest to morality. And surprisingly, he quit.
Shocker.
But the channel's still up. Like, dude, you left your channel up, which has made
Yeah.
for a lot of entertainment because, like, Lance has been going through videos on the channel and they're amazing.
Going through his channel, I feel like is like actually listening to clips of Joe Rogan and being like, "Oh, this is even worse than I thought it was going to be." Because that's how I feel every single time I hear a clip from him. Like every time there's a new controversy with Joe Rogan, I think it can't be that bad. They have to be blowing this up. It's got to be like the context shit that he always claims. And then you hear the actual quote, you're like, I'm sorry, what?
In a memento, I have to mute myself for a minute. I have a conversation that needs to happen.
Oh.
Yes. I was up too late last night and I didn't sleep well and I had a terrible day at work. So that sound is my entire body. I do you remember you watched Buffy, right?
Oh, yes, and I
Okay.
still
It's
watch,
really dumb for me to even say, "Do you remember?" Because it's one of the most iconic episodes of Buffy. But The Wish, where Cordelia
mhm,
accidentally makes the nightmare alternate timeline. And there's that part at the end when Giles summons I guess Anyanka she was at the time. And he goes to destroy her amulet. And she's like, how do you know that this other world is going to be any better? And he's like, because it has to be.
mhm.
Um and like right now, I don't know anybody who's actually worked for a Florida Publix. But several people have said that they've heard that it's a lot more laid back and enjoyable there. And that moment with Giles is exactly how I feel right now. Like, how do I know it's gonna be better? Because it has to be. This like I literally have 2 days left. Um, and today I was left this like ridiculous nasty gram from my boss, and I'm like, "Can we not? There are 3 days left. Can we just like not do this anymore?" I yeah.
And
Um, I'm super excited to be gone.
just because I saw it in the chat, yes, Raven, the plot of the game is the goblins have forgotten their place in society, and maybe you're the chosen one who will put them down because they don't understand that they're not as good as the humans and need to be put into their place as the dirty goblins that they are.
Oh, lovely.
That's
Yeah.
part of the
And
game.
I
I've
mean,
heard a
in
lot
all
of stuff.
fairness, the entire series is like even the base content is very human centric and has very much the gradient of like this is everybody who's at the top level with humans and there is nothing above and everything else is below.
And I have heard, and I don't know how true it is, that there's a lot of analogies between the goblins and Jews.
Oh,
More in the movies than in the books. You can see it in the books if you want to, but the movies made this very explicit. If you actually want to just be shocked by something from your childhood that you didn't notice, when Harry goes into Gringotts for the first time, the first thing that you see is a Star of David, and then you see a goblin, which is basically a caricature of Jews from the Third Reich.
He
Wow.
practically walked up and was like, "Hi, my name's Moish."
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is very explicit in the
very
movies.
explicit in the movies.
Raven says, why don't we just roleplay making the house elves the slaves of all wizarding families while we're at it?
yeah.
It's not like there's justifications for slavery in the books.
And
This is the story of how we enslaved an entire race of people. Yeah, can we not? I don't want to watch Willy Wonka enslave the Oompa Loompas. I don't want to watch the wizards enslave the house elves.
Yeah, I
Raven.
always thought that that was a weirdly excuse me, like a weirdly obtuse, like as subtle as there's all the subtle and ingrained and just like this is unfortunate parts of our culture that like we forget are really bad. And then there's everything with the house elves, and I was like, this is just blatant, and I don't understand why this is okay in a children's novel, except for Hermione to have her high horse, but
To
it's
be
still
condemned.
I mean, like the thing with Hermione is that, and I'm not like necessarily mad at her, but it still was basically just that difference between slavery and indentured servitude.
Mm.
Like make them free, but like they still need to cook my pumpkin pies.
I, in this case, and you know, Hermione was a great character, but I think in this case she was basically Miss Rowling's stand-in for white saviorship.
Yes,
She's
yes,
also there
absolutely.
to, for all of her talk of feminism, she's there to mock the idea of the overly into the cause girl trope that you see
Yeah.
in so many things. Like, she is Maya's best friend in the Princess Diaries. Like, I can't, like, completely losing her name right now, but Mia's best friend. Like, that whole storyline is just in there to make fun of her for being into politics. So, Joe, if it's bad for women to be involved in politics, according to your fiction, like, should you shut up?
Yeah.
Yeah, Spence, I did see that this morning that Putin is very much pro JK.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it prompted a bunch of people saying, I stand with JK because it's in defense of her being supported. I don't understand how that works, but
Yeah, no. No. No,
we
that's a
will
confusing narrative.
we will defend you against support.
birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah, it's kind of not surprising that a totalitarian would be kind of into the Queen of Turf Island. Like, I don't know.
Wait, did you say it's kind of not surprising?
I might have.
You wouldn't be wrong.
Bye, Persephone, and hello, Nikki. Um, yeah, that is quite an unhappy way to end things tonight.
Sometimes it's what we do.
Well, like I've been ending most of my things after we talk about the depression of the world, is while it is not, well, I'm not saying that Disney is a good company. They are an amoral company that cares only about the monies. The fact that they and many other of these large behemoth corporations have realized that the money is in not supporting the queer community and supporting actual women and women's voices and actually supporting people of color and getting their stories out into the world shows that we have actually shifted the culture.
And then,
Because
unfortunately for the conservatives, the system does occasionally work, just like you told us it would.
yep,
Oh, it's not doing it in your favor anymore? I'm sorry.
so sorry.
Mm,
Oh, but
Thank you
that's
so
when
much.
they call that they're being canceled by cancel
yes.
culture.
Yes.
Mel Gibson is still making movies. Cancel culture for rich conservatives does not exist. I'm sorry. Like, yes, smaller, like non-famous people, I could see how it could actually mess their lives up. But for the people that they're complaining that are being canceled, like,
Right. Well, and it's not, I mean, the thing is that it, like, there is a bad side of canceling, but like what they are calling canceling isn't canceling.
nope.
Dr. Seuss's estate deciding to remove three fairly obscure books because there's some offensive drawings in it is not canceling.
Hmm.
Also, remember they have reduced the bar for what is considered canceling down to the level of, oh no, you criticized something I said.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're also martyring themselves, and I feel like this needs to be pointed out. Like, this has become a badge of honor that we need to be careful not to feed into. The Babylon Bee and several other large conservative publications and figures have been going out of their way to be grossly transphobic so that Twitter will lock their accounts, because all they have to do on the first strike is delete the offending tweet and the account will be unlocked. That's all you have to do on the first strike, and they are refusing to do that as some kind of weird moral stand. Don't give them the victory in this.
Yeah.
It's the worst kind of showboating.
Yeah. And it's the move that they do constantly. Like, it's certainly not limited to Twitter or social media or anything. How many times have you heard them complain that they're not able to do the thing they want to do? And you're like, well, I mean, if you just do it this way, it's totally fine. No, that doesn't count. Like, they've pulled that shit forever.
Hmm.
And
I
see,
mean, they
that's why.
pulled that shit with the sanctity of marriage, right?
Well, see, this is why I am enjoying the whole Dave Rubin thing that's happening right now,
Mhm.
because it's Schadenfreude on all sides. Like, their instinct, you can tell, is to fire him. Like, he has been
Mhm.
a good token mouthpiece, but now he has crossed this line. But they can't do that because they have made cancel culture their cause du jour, and so they can't have him going, "I got canceled by them."
Yeah.
So they've built this beautiful Gordian knot around
Mhm.
themselves that they
Yeah.
are just trapped in, and it's kind of a beautiful thing to watch as they're trying to figure out how do now,
Yeah. And
because
what to
any other
do
time they would have just
when,
fired him.
they have people who are saying clearly incorrect things and like they all know it. They all know this is going on and they don't agree with it, but like what do you do at this point? We can't, like you
They
said, we
double
can't
down
cancel
on the
them.
incorrect thing and make it their truth,
Yeah, yeah, they have to double down on it.
which it just blows my mind. It's like, what are you? No.
Yeah.
And this is why I watch the Creaky Blinder, because he just yells and screams so I don't have to. And he does it with a fabulous Welsh accent, which I endorse and support.
Which somehow makes it acceptable.
It makes it better. And his new podcast is called There We Are Then. And he, not for any acronym purposes at all.
I can see the same thing. People just
Okay.
back coming from an American accent. He says it, and they're just like, "Oh, that's so cute."
Can you tell somebody's home?
Yes.
Go home. I brought gifts.
You brought what?
Gifts of happiness and joy,
Yes.
sunshine.
And Chinese food.
Yep.
With good tidings of dim sum and joy. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I've been, aside from the Mage the Ascension game that I play on Sako's channel, today has been a lot of, well, not literal crying, but internal screaming and crying at the way the world is. And
Oh, honey, that's why I have an Instagram. I follow a lot of pretty people who cosplay a lot and a bunch of people that just post fan art of my favorite fandoms. And just like, I'm just going to go to Instagram and scroll for a while and look at all the pretty pictures.
How about this, Jace? I've got some imagery for you
Oh, no.
to help you out, give you a little bit of joy, share some of the sunshine. Even though there's a lot of wretchedness out there, you got to think in the middle of nowhere, a little podunk town, a gay couple could start an outdoor retreat for puppy play.
Oh, yeah. That happened recently.
And they actually have like a puppy campground.
And he wears the t-shirt for it in public. And it's so great because straight people have no idea what that mask means. It's so cute. Like, all the gay people are like, oh, girl!
Yeah.
Straight people are so embarrassing.
But yeah,
so
we have a day camp for puppy play now.
Yeah.
speaking of cosplay, I believe this is a character she plays in a tabletop RPG, but Josephine McAdam just posted one today that she did, and it is stunning.
Ooh.
Yeah, very nice.
If I could only tame my sewing machine to let me do things.
And it's very spring.
It
Yeah.
is. That just screams
And
bells.
I don't know if you can tell, but she actually does have horns.
Yes. They're just like woven into her hair.
Hmm.
And I love that. I kind of want to do that now. I'm a
Yeah.
little jealous.
So she is like a satyr goddess, and it is a gorgeous thing.
If anyone knows where I can get some horns to easily weave into my hair, please let me know.
Very well integrated.
I have plans for the live streams. Please let me know.
Raven says Fern Calloway from Critical Role vibes. I mean, she knows all those people. They all RPG together. They. I'm afraid to use the word incestuous with their groups, but it's that kind of thing where they just all, trade players and everything. So
I'm wanting to say it's all like nepotistic, but in a good way.
yeah, they are a community. So she's part of that community. All right. And I think with that, with something beautiful to look at, um, actually, I want something.
Very, very nice palette cleanser there.
Mhm.
Hurry before we mess it up. Let's go.
I will fuck it up somehow.
No, I want to put up something. Oops. Picture of something even more inspirational. No. Don't do that.
What are you looking at?
There we go. Oh my God, stop it. Pop-ups, go the fuck away.
I love Raven. Before I say anything else, flame.
Okay, stop that one. Nope, remove. Stop screen, share screen. Something even more inspirational is this picture, and
Yeah.
we'll leave the stream at that
Perfect.
because that is the world I want.
Yes.
Someone whose life has been so blessed that the worst thing that people can come at her for is something someone else did.
Mhm.
Yes.
That is a blessed life.
And with that, we will see you next time. Goodbye.